I got a call today from one of my colleagues in the legislature. He asked, would I join the Tea Party caucus in the Florida House? And I said, why not? I've already joined every Tea Party in my district. Good for you. I want to apologize for having to cancel in short order the last time I was supposed to be here, and I wanted to offer an explanation. I've sponsored House Bill 45, and it is a pro-gun effort to stop local governments from chiseling away at our Second Amendment rights. And I got a call that even though my bill was supposed to be heard in committee, I got a call that said that there were some in leadership in the House that thought that it would be insensitive to hear a pro-gun issue, given the tragedy that's occurred in Arizona, and that my bill would not be heard this legislative session. And that the only way that my bill would be heard is if I could get a group of members together that would all go to some of the members of leadership and ask that it be heard. So that day, I got in the car and drove to Jacksonville and ended up in Miami within 72 hours. And we rallied up enough support on Tuesday, February 8th, House Bill 45 will be heard in the Criminal Justice Committee. Yeah. Otherwise, I've been here. I promise. It wasn't that I had a hot date.
We miss you.
I wanted to do something a little bit different tonight. You know, a lot of times I come and talk about what my priorities are for the legislative session and just kind of give you the conservative comeback speech. Instead, what I'd like to do is run through, really in no particular order, a lot of the controversial issues that are coming up, and then lay out the arguments that we're hearing on both sides. And instead of just me talking, you know, for a few minutes, really get some interaction and feedback as to how we ought to respond to some of these arguments. And I'm going to take a lot of notes, if that's okay, and I'll call on folks if you want to raise your hand and offer advice. We did this just last night in Navarre. Mike helped me out a lot, and it went really well. And so I hope, is that okay if instead of the normal thing, we do some interactive stuff? Well, great. Well, and I wanted to start then with these Second Amendment issues that we have challenging us. You'll want to note, again, House Bill 45 is my bill. And I'll give you the impetus for that, and then also the arguments we're hearing on the other side. We've got a problem in the state of Florida. Oh no.
You're okay.
It's Obama. Wait a minute, let me pick it up.
We've got a problem in the state of Florida in that local governments are really doing things that violate the Second Amendment. And I'll give you some examples. We've seen it in other parts of the state. Miami-Dade County has tried to pass ordinances installing trigger locks on firearms. In Broward County, they want to pass ordinances that would put tracing on ammunition so that they can track where the bullets are. But I think the most egregious example, what got me to file this bill, was a story about a man in Palm Beach County. The Palm Beach County County Commission passed an ordinance that said it was unlawful for anyone to bring any firearm onto public property. And so a man went to visit the grave of his son, who had predeceased him, and was arrested at a gravesite because he had his firearm with him at a gravesite. I thought that was so egregious that I filed this bill. It expressly preempts Second Amendment issues to the state, and it says that if any county or any public official try to erode those rights, there'll be severe fines up to $5 million for any government official that gets in the way of your right to bear arms. So that's what House Bill 45 does. Here's the argument that we're hearing on the other side. One, we're hearing and even though I've convinced some in my own party to hear the bill, we'll hear the argument in committee that this is not the right time to hear gun bills. That it simply is insensitive to do that at this time. And we'll also hear the argument that local control, we're supposed to be for local control, so why won't we allow city councils and county commissions to regulate gun rights instead of saying, no, that is not your jurisdiction. So those are the arguments I'll hear. The other gun issue, just so that you know that it's out there, House Bill 517. House Bill 517 is an open carry law in Florida that we should be able to carry openly, and I'm a co-sponsor of House Bill 517. So what ought to be, when I hear those arguments, we should favor local control. This is an insensitive time to pass gun legislation. You know, help freshen me up a little on what we need to be saying on the other side. Gene.
As far as local control goes, I think this is well and good and properly so in most places, but when it violates the Constitution, then it should not be allowed to stand.
Yeah, Mike?
Why not local controls in the First Amendment?
Yeah, well, that's an excellent argument.
Fourth Amendment.
Yeah, wow, that's the best argument I've heard so far. Is we don't let the Niceville City Council dictate, when we can express our religion, so we shouldn't let them dictate, trigger locks. Yeah, Clay, did you have another one?
Yeah, I was going to say First Amendment, but yeah, it's just like if they can do that, then what about any of our other inalienable rights? And the Second Amendment right basically is what is the foundation that keeps us free, because it keeps the government. It's another check that truly we the people. It's sort of a last ditch check, if you